Good afternoon. This is your afternoon briefing on May 20th. I'm Sean Milrad, and I'm here with Dan Halprin, and we're going to give you a relatively brief outlook for the next couple of days, so mainly for Tuesday and Wednesday, the 21st and the 22nd, and the focus will be on the path from mostly Greenland through Iceland and Scotland as well. So here is the 24-hour surface forecast. You can see that big low pressure system well south of Greenland, but will still be causing some cloud impacts across the North Atlantic. And of course, along with the cloud impacts come some icing potential as well. East of Greenland, it's actually fairly quiet in terms of major systems, but we'll talk more about the cloud coverage as we go forward. So for Wednesday, this is the 48-hour surface map forecast, and you can see that strong low pressure system, again, still well south of Greenland, but it will have impacts further north into eastern Greenland and into Iceland as well. Over Scotland and Ireland, you can see actually a nice high pressure system there on Wednesday, so conditions should be actually fairly decent there on Wednesday. For freezing level, I'm going to take you through the animation. As it's been pretty consistent, the freezing level in much of Greenland is near the surface. In the area between Greenland and Iceland on Tuesday, freezing levels will range in the 2,000 to 4,000 foot range. Over Iceland, they should be around or just above 5,000 feet. So we'll animate into Wednesday here, and you can see actually freezing levels over Iceland go up quite a bit and probably above 5,000 feet, whereas the area in eastern Greenland, actually the freezing levels probably go up as well to about 2,000 or 3,000 feet. So generally rising freezing levels as we get into Wednesday, especially over Iceland and further east. Temperatures at 5,000 feet, it's been pretty consistent at or just below freezing between Goose Bay and Greenland. That will continue tomorrow as well as on the path past Greenland through Reykjavik and into Scotland. As we go into Wednesday, you will notice those temperatures between Greenland and Reykjavik go up a bit, some above freezing values. On Wednesday, especially on the approach into Iceland. And the path between Iceland and Scotland is actually predominantly above freezing, especially late Wednesday and into early Thursday. So a slight warming trend there. At 10,000 feet, temperatures continue to be in the low to mid-teens in general, a little higher to the east than to the west. One value of 20 there, just off the west coast of Iceland on Tuesday. But these have been pretty consistent throughout, and we don't anticipate any major changes throughout the day, Tuesday and Wednesday. Perhaps a little warmer late Wednesday on the path from Iceland to Scotland, and that's consistent with the warming trends we saw at lower levels. All right, so let's talk about icing a little bit here. This is for 5,000 feet starting Tuesday morning at 9Z. There should be a pretty decent layer of clouds between Greenland and Iceland early Tuesday, and you'll see that continue throughout much of the day, certainly around Iceland. Some pretty solid icing potential at 5,000 feet. As we go into Wednesday, you'll notice that the path between Greenland and Iceland starts to feature less icing, and in general the icing swath moves slightly to the south and recedes mostly past Iceland by the end of day Wednesday. But certainly throughout the next 2 days, especially around Iceland, there are going to be some significant icing potential at 5,000 feet. 10,000 feet, so same time period, start Tuesday morning. Actually, a bit better between Greenland and Iceland. You see the main icing area is only around Iceland. Doesn't stretch too far off the coast there. And as we go into Wednesday, generally the same. although Iceland starts to see less icing later in the day on Wednesday. So perhaps better conditions in Iceland by Wednesday, but that's the situation at 10,000 feet. So just a 24-hour forecast for flight conditions. You can see east coast of Greenland, we have some patches of potential IFR and LIFR there. The west coast of Greenland actually looks pretty good for Tuesday morning. Iceland, probably the real problem. A lot of MVFR and some IFR, etc. there, so we'll have to watch that for relatively low clouds and ceiling and visibility issues. Turbulence forecast is pretty good. This is for overnight on Monday night, and you can see that maybe some light turbulence on the east coast of Greenland, but in general the North Atlantic is fairly quiet as long as you're north of that big low pressure system south of Greenland, which all of you will be. So good news in terms of turbulence. Okay, we'll take a look at the forecast winds. This is at 5,000 feet. So we'll start again Tuesday at 9Z and go through the day on Tuesday. You'll notice some pretty strong northeasterlies off the southern tip of Greenland. That's on the north side of that low pressure system. So have to watch out for that for planes that are either going from Labrador to Greenland or leaving Greenland. But once you get farther east toward Iceland, the winds are considerably weaker. The main risks there are in terms of clouds and icing. This pattern generally continues into Wednesday morning. You can see not many changes of strong winds still on the southern tip of Greenland. But in general, a headwind regime for all planes going from Labrador to Greenland to Iceland. But again, weaker winds, especially as you approach Reykjavik, and that will continue into Wednesday late afternoon and evening. At 10,000 feet, just animate this here, you'll notice that the stronger winds are a little farther south at 10,000 feet, so a little less of a headwind higher up off the southern tip of Greenland, as well as on the path from Goose to Greenland. Again, once you get east of Greenland, the winds they're still a headwind, but they weaken significantly. So the winds between Greenland and Iceland are relatively weak, and that's true for Tuesday as well into Wednesday. As you can see here, not much change throughout the day on Wednesday. The one thing that does happen at 10,000 feet on Wednesday is those strong northeasterlies south of Greenland get a little bit closer to Greenland, but still don't reach the tip. So we'll zoom in on the specific airports. This is for Goose Bay. During the day on Tuesday, generally the same regime. We've seen these northeasterlies coming off the bay. Pretty strong winds are forecast down the runway, so you can expect that during the day on Tuesday. At Greenland, this is also for Tuesday. Relatively weak winds, it looks like, at the runway. You can see winds coming from the northeast on the eastern side of Greenland and coming from the west on the western side of Greenland. But considering what we've seen in some past days, these are fairly weak winds and shouldn't be too much of a concern there. These are overall surface winds forecast for Greenland during Tuesday. Definitely the east coast of Greenland seeing stronger surface winds coming from the north than the west coast of Greenland, which is relatively quiet. And for Iceland, the winds will actually be fairly weak, especially down toward the Reykjavik area. So the winds are not much of a concern Tuesday into Wednesday for Iceland. The big concern there, and we stress this again, is the sealing and icing issues continued there. Just a quick look at Prestwick. You can see relatively weak winds coming from the northwest on Tuesday. They do get a little stronger throughout the day and then drop off again at night. So what you would typically expect for your day-to-night variations there. And that's just through the day on Wednesday. relatively weak winds. They will be switching to the south by late Wednesday and get a little stronger into early Thursday. We'll provide additional updates on that tomorrow. So, quick look at your TAFs. For Goose Bay, generally relatively low ceilings, 2,000 to 4,000 feet. You can see there's a chance of occasional rain showers today through this evening. After this evening, they're generally calling for light rain with mist and ceilings of about 1,500 feet. For Iceland, on and off rain showers during the day today, perhaps slightly improving conditions as we get to tonight into tomorrow, but we'll keep an eye on that. And for Prestwick, you can see that generally good conditions now, scattered at 2,000 feet. There is a chance of some showers and some lower ceilings, but still relatively low chances, only 30 to 40% there as we go into the overnight hours and early on Tuesday. So that's your outlook for the afternoon of the 20th. Again, if you have any questions or concerns, don't hesitate to contact us, and the next update will be provided early Tuesday morning. Thanks, and happy travels.